Hello, my name is Ed Freeman. I'm a professor at the Darden School at the University of Virginia. And I want to thank you for inviting me to give a very short video today to this occasion. I want to talk a little bit about something I've been working on for really all my career, the last 40 years, and that is a few words about stakeholder theory. Because I find that there are a number of misconceptions and nuances, and I'd like to try to at least give you my view on what some of them are. Many people think that the big insight of stakeholder theory was to figure out that, hey, there are more groups than shareholders that businesses have to deal with. And it's true. I've said for a long time that, most businesses have to create value and keep from destroying value for customers, suppliers, employees, communities, and shareholders, people with money, whoever they turn out to be. But that's not, to me, I don't think that's the main insight. I always thought that was pretty common sense, just what business is. I think a more important insight is that stakeholder interests are joint. Stakeholders are interdependent. For instance, how much money you make is straightforwardly a function of how you deal with your customers and suppliers and employees and the society in which you said. Profits on this view are best seen as an outcome. They're an outcome for how you deal with the other stakeholders, what products you have, what services you have, how your suppliers support you or not, how good your employees are, and what you do in the community, etc. So thinking about stakeholders, think about the interdependence. It's very hard to be able to sort out how, if you change something with one stakeholder, you might change something for the others. So think through in your business model how creating value for customers is how that creates, or it might destroy, value for the others, or how creating value for suppliers might create or destroy value for customers, employees, society, and shareholders. So interdependence is the first issue here. The second issue is that if stakeholders are interdependent, and if their interests are different, which they are, then this idea that you have to align their interests is a little bit misleading as a metaphor. I much prefer the idea that stakeholder interests need to be harmonized. Because in music, I'm a sort of an amateur musician, in music, harmony means that the notes are different, but they sound really good together. So trying to figure out how you get these different interests not aligned so that they agree, but harmonized so that they sound good together. And to do this without just making trade-offs, saying, well, I'll take a little from this one and give to that one, etc. Because what great companies do is they figure out how to harmonize stakeholder interest and continue to do that over time. The critical variable here is creative imagination. How can I think through the variety of different interests, different payoffs, different, I don't mean payoff bribes, I mean payoffs in terms of what the stakeholders are interested in. How do I figure out the idea is, there are many currencies, and some stakeholders see benefits in one currency, others will see benefits in another. And trying to put that together so that you find wins is the real art. I have a good friend who's a co-founder of a very large company who says, look, when you start thinking about win, you get better at it. You get better at it the more you do it. And the other issue with this is I'm pretty sure if you only look for trade-offs, you'll only find trade-offs. If you look for wins, you might not find it, but you're certainly not going to find it if you don't look. So there's there's more than shareholders, but the key idea is that they are interdependent and they have a joint interest. Their interests need to be harmonized, and you need to do it without trade-offs. Now, another nuance here that's actually fairly subtle is we need a mindset about creating value for stakeholders that's about relationships, not transactions. We listen too much to too many economists who see the world in terms of a set of future forward-looking discrete transactions. But when I see the world in relationship terms, yes, what the future brings is important, but what the past has brought me is important as well. If I'm in a relationship with someone, or if a company is in a relationship with the stakeholder, there's a presumption that that relationship's going to continue, that it's going to endure through time, that we don't keep score every day. Sometimes we might have to decide whether the relationship is worth continuing or not, but we don't keep score literally every day. I see this, and further, relationships work because we care about each other. Companies that care about their stakeholders simply do better. I see this in personal terms. My wife and I have been married for a long time, 44 years. And I can truthfully say that if I were to go into her office and say, hon, we've been married 44 years. I think you're up 3. I think you owe me 3. I announced the score. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be a good outcome. In fact, she's a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo, so I know it wouldn't be a good outcome for me. Why? In a relationship, we care about each other. We don't keep score every day. We try and do things that support each other. It's give and take. It's not a sort of thing where, well, that's a check mark for me. This is a check mark for you. We'll go from there. Making stakeholder thinking relationship oriented towards interdependence, oriented towards getting them to move together in the same direction, and not thinking about trade-offs is what's, in my experience of many years with businesses around the world, critical to creating value for stakeholders. I hope these ideas help. We talk about them in a recent book called, with 2 colleagues, Kirsten Martin and Bithan Parmar. The book's called The Power of And, Responsible Business Without Trade-Offs. And we talk about purpose and profit, stakeholders and shareholders, seeing business as a societal institution as well as a market institution, seeing us as fully human as well as economic beings, and putting together ethics and business. The new story of business is revolutionizing the world. We are creating a way to understand business that, yes, makes money and makes the world better. I wish you the best in your part of that, and I hope some of these ideas will find their way into your companies. Thanks very much.